Hello learners, myself Dr. Alok Kumar Gupta, Academic Officer Physics, welcomes you in the video program of National Institute of Open Schooling Noida. Learners, today we are choosing topic sound and waves. You know this is very interesting topic because sound is very important, or you can say it play a versatile role in our day to day life. Either you are hearing, either you are communicating with each other or anyone, all these phenomena contains sounds and after then waves. So, for this program our expert is Mr. Sher Singh, Principal, Navagyu School, Lodhi Road, Delhi. So, I welcome Mr. Singh.
Thank you, Dr. Alok. The topic which we have selected for the discussion, sound and waves, is really very important because we cannot express ourselves without any communication, and sound is very convenient way of communication. So, sound and waves both are related to each other. First we will talk little bit about sound, then we will go to the waves, and you know that sound is the form of energy which gives the sensation of hearing. You may have heard the sound of coming from different situations, and now you can try to recall your experiences. I am giving you some situations here, and you can see the situation and you can recall the sound. Another situation, you can recall the sound. There is another situation. And there is another situation. This is also very much familiar to you. Now, how do these things produce sound? You can conclude it by your careful observation, and you may have seen that the sound is produced only by vibrations. In all these cases, you may have seen the vibrations of the bodies. Let us tell about this some important terms related to the vibrations or oscillations. Let me take an example of simple pendulum, and this is a simple pendulum which you are looking at the diagram in the slide. This B point is representing the mean position of the simple pendulum or the position of equilibrium, while A and C points are the extreme positions. So, when this simple pendulum is released to oscillate, it goes from A to C through B and come back to A through this point B, and we say that this is one complete oscillation, and theta represents the angular amplitude here, and the time from A to C and C to A back is called time period. It is the time of one oscillation or one vibrations. The frequency of the oscillation is 1 upon time period.
As you said, vibrating body produce sound, then why it is not sound is noticeable in case of simple pendulum?
Okay, I will tell you this after giving the real picture of the simple pendulum. Here this is a point of suspension, and this is called bob, and this whole arrangement is known as simple pendulum. Now, this bob is at its equilibrium position, and when I displace it sidewise, then it reaches to the extreme position, and now I am releasing it to oscillate. So, now simple pendulum start oscillating. When it goes from one extreme position to another and come back to the same extreme position, we say that one oscillation is completed, and the time of this oscillation is known as time period, and reciprocal of it is the frequency. And something which is very important is this frequency of simple pendulum depends upon the length of the string, acceleration due to gravity, and given as 1 upon 2 pi under root g upon L, where L is the length of the string. Generally in case of simple pendulum, we take length of the string approximately equal to 1 meter and acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second square. So, when we calculate time period of the simple pendulum by using the formula, we get time period approximately about 2 seconds and frequency comes about 0.5 hertz. And you must know that human ears are limited to listen the sound, and this limit of human ear is from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's why we cannot notice all the sounds in our surroundings. Think, if our ears are so sensitive that they can sense every sound, then what will happen to us? We will not be able to control our brain, because at that time the sound of the molecules of air is also coming, the sound of the ant moving on a floor is also coming. So, it will become very difficult to control ourselves. That is why God has limited that we can listen or we can hear only the sound from 20 to 20,000 hertz. The tension in the string of the pendulum really is responsible factor to govern the oscillations, and here in case of simple pendulum, it is the weight of the bob mg which is acting downward towards the center of earth, and it is resolved in two components, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. These two components are rectangular component of mg, and here mg cos theta is producing tension in the string and mg sin theta is providing restoring force to oscillate. But when pendulum start oscillating, the bob moves in a circular path and it needs centripetal force. That is why the net tension in the string during the oscillation becomes mg cos theta plus the outward centripetal force, that is mv square upon L. If we write the value of V, which is equal to omega L, and then omega is equal to 2 pi by T, then we will get tension in the string at extreme position is equal to 2 mg, and at another position mg plus mv square upon L, or at mean position it will be 2 mg, at extreme position it will be mg cos theta because V is 0 there.
Can we show this variation in tension graphically?
Yes, we can. If you are plotting a graph between tension in the string and time period, then this type of graph will be obtained, and you can see here it starts from one minimum value, that is mg by 2, then mg, 3 mg by 2, 2 mg, and here we have taken the time 0, t by 4, t by 2, 3 t by 4 and t for a complete oscillation. So, the maximum value at the mean position is 2 mg and minimum value here we have taken mg by 2, taking theta accordingly. So, this is the graph. Now, there is very important factor in case of simple pendulum. We always take theta, that is angular amplitude, very small to make the motion of the simple pendulum as simple harmonic motion. But in practice, whatever the small angle, the time period depends upon the angular amplitude. Generally, if we are taking time period as 2 pi under root L over g, then for any value of theta, this t will becomes t naught 1 plus 1 by 4 sin square theta by 2. Here we are neglecting other terms, we are only considering the first order terms of formula. So, this is the right formula. If you are making theta is equal to 0, then t becomes equal to t naught, that is 2 pi under root L over g. This amplitude is very important, and when we talk about the intensity, just like the limit of the ears for frequency, there is something very important for the intensity. Intensity is expressed as log I over I naught, where I naught is the base intensity, or you can say the intensity level which is approximately equal to 10 raised to power minus 12 watt per meter square, and relative intensity is always expressed beta in decibels, and it is 10 log I over I naught. This is the formula in decibels, and bell is the unit of intensity of sound, that is in the honor of the Alexander Graham Bell. So, this unit is taken from that point, and beta is very important in our day to day activities also. In all the residential area there is a limit. Sound level should not go beyond 55 decibels, and if you are going about 85 decibels and you are listening this type of sound at least for a 1 week, then there may be the damage in our hearing aids, and if you go beyond that, there may be some cases of immediate death also. And if you are taking the comparison of two sounds, then beta can be given as 10 log I 1 over I naught minus 10 log I 2 over I 1, and this will be equal to 10 log I 1 over I 2. So, this is the way how to compare the intensities of the sound. Sound has all the properties of waves, just like light waves. So, sound reflects and refract as in case of light. When a wave reflects, there is a phase difference of phi which is equal to pi, and amplitude, frequency and wavelength remains constant. But during refraction, sound goes from one medium to another medium, and in that case there is no change in phase difference, but there is a change in wavelength, and there is also a change in amplitude. If we are talking about the transverse waves, then the displacement wave coming from a rarer medium is reflected at the boundary of a denser medium with a phase change of pi, but no such change in phase occurs when a displacement wave coming from a denser medium is reflected at the boundary of rarer medium. Acoustically, a medium is said to be denser if its Z value is very high, and Z is equal to mu into V for transverse waves travelling on the string of linear density mu, and for longitudinal waves this mu will be replaced by volume density rho, and there is no change in phase in the transmitted wave if a light string A is joined with a heavy string B and both are under the same tension, then a pulse travelling in the light string is reflected up, south, down, which means a phase change of P occurs in the reflected. P means a point pulse, but the transmitted pulse goes without any change in the phase. The phenomena of reflection can be understood and it can be described by the concept of imaginary virtual pulses which one can produce easily. Now, in case of longitudinal waves, reflection at the boundary of a denser medium, the phase of the displacement change by pi, but no such phase change occurs in pressure, and on reflection at the boundary of a rare medium, no phase of change occurs in the displacement, but the phase of the pressure change by pi. No phase change occurs in the transmitted wave compression at the, therefore, reflected as a compression at the boundary of a denser medium, but is reflected as a refraction at the boundary of a rarer medium. Reflection coefficient is very important. It can be shown that the reflection and transmission coefficient for amplitudes, that is for normal incidence, are given by the following relations, in which the symbol Z stands for mu into V for transverse waves and rho into V for longitudinal waves. Mu is linear density and rho is volume density and V is the wave velocity, as we have already mentioned. So, reflection coefficient R will be equal to Z1 minus Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2. Transmission coefficient is 2 Z1 divided by Z1 plus Z2. In case of transverse waves, two string under the same tension, Z will be equal to mu into V and when we will substitute the value of v, that is velocity, it becomes equal to under root t into mu, where t is the tension in the string. If T1 and T2 are equal, then it can be written as under root mu 1 minus under root mu 2 whole divided by under root mu 1 plus under root mu 2. Similarly, we can write in case of longitudinal waves, this will be equal to rho 1 V 1, which is very less than rho 2 V 2, and rho is the volume density of the medium. Waves can propagate in a medium simultaneously in several numbers. When these waves travel simultaneously in a medium, then they affect each other, they superimpose, and the phenomena of superposition in case of sound is very important. Here we can talk about the superposition of the waves. So, principle finding resultant displacement of a point under the influence of two or more waves is known as principle of superposition. According to the principle of superposition, where several waves pass simultaneously through a given point in a medium, the resultant wave displacement is given as the vector sum of individual displacement of the wave, and you can express for two waves as y is equal to y 1 plus y 2. It should be noted that displacement add and not the amplitudes of the waves. We have to find the resultant by adding the displacements, not the amplitude. Further, our principle is true so long as the displacement are not very large, and due to the superposition of wave, one very important phenomena, that is interference, is taking place. If we write the equations of the waves as y 1 is equal to a 1 sin omega t minus k x and y 2 is equal to a 2 sin omega t minus k x plus phi, where phi is the phase difference between the waves, then y will be y 1 plus y 2, and it can be simplified. We can get the resultant value as y is equal to a sin omega t minus k x plus delta. Then a cos delta is a 1 plus a 2 cos phi, and a sin delta is a 2 sin phi. When we simplify all these things, we will get the resultant amplitude as a 1 square plus a 2 square plus 2 a 1 a 2 cos phi, and tan delta, that is a 2 sin phi divided by a 1 plus a 2 cos phi, as you have already learned in case of law of parallelogram. At a place where phi is equal to 0, the amplitude will be maximum and given as a 1 plus a 2, and at places where phi is equal to pi, the amplitude will be minimum and given as a 1 minus a 2. Thus, the amplitude of the wave lies in between a 1 plus a 2 and a 1 minus a 2, and the ratio of the maximum intensity and minimum intensity will be equal to a 1 plus a 2 whole square divided by a 1 minus a 2 whole square, because intensity is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. There is another important phenomena, that is known as the phenomena of beats, and you are very much familiar with the beats, because in daily life you have heard the beats of drum, beats of other musical instruments, and here if you can notice, just try to hear the beats which I am going to produce with the help of a very simple experiment. This is a Kathmandu bell, and generally you have seen in temples, and we are producing sound like this, but here I am producing sound with the help of this pipe, and I will take this sound in this pipe so that air column in the pipe start also vibrating and beats are produced. So, you may have noticed the sound variation its pitch increases and decreases. Why it is so? We will explain it with the help of Beat's theory. The same principle is applicable of superposition. If you are writing two waves as y1 and y2, then the resultant amplitude y will be 2 cos pi v1 minus v2 into t and sin pi v1 minus v2 into 2. Here v we have written for frequency. From this equation, frequency of displacement variation, the resultant wave is a wave whose frequency is the half of the sum of these two frequency, but whose amplitude is not constant. Frequency of amplitude variation is difference of their frequency divided by 2. Difference of their frequency divided by 2, however, the magnitude of amplitude, that is cos pi nu 1 minus nu 2 t, curve and has a frequency of nu 1 minus nu 2. This is very important. The variation in amplitude which governs the loudness is different, and the variation in the frequency, that is nu 1 minus nu 2 divided by 2, is different, and frequency of intensity in the variation. So, this is the formula for the intensity, which is k 2 a square cos pi nu 1 minus nu 2 into t plus 1, where k is a constant, and the intensity is follows cos square pi nu 1 minus nu 2 into t, curve and has a frequency double that of the expression inside. So, it varies with frequency nu 1 minus nu 2. If the two sources have amplitudes A1 and A2, similar formula can be derived, which is the same for superposition of waves. So, the ratio of maximum intensity and minimum intensity will be the square of the sum of the amplitudes divided by difference amplitude and square of it. Whenever there is a relative motion between an observer and a source of sound, the pitch of the sound appears changing, and this phenomena of an apparent change in pitch, that is frequency of a note proceeding from an approaching or receding source of sound, is known as Doppler effect. And here you may have seen, while you are at a railway platform, one train is approaching you with the whistling sound, and then you can hear the rising of the pitch. That pitch appears to be increased, and when this train is going away from you, then there is a decreasing level of the pitch. When direction of any object, either listener or the source, changes, you can change the sign of the velocity in this respective formula, and you can calculate the apparent change in the frequency by using this formula. Here I am showing you this very simple instrument known as tuning fork. This is prong of the tuning fork, and this is the stem of the tuning fork. When this prong of the tuning fork is gently strike to a pad, and this is the sound of 512 hertz. I am taking another tuning fork which is also of the same frequency of 512 hertz. It is giving the same pitch, but in shape these two tuning forks are different. Generally, tuning forks are made by having the same metal and stretching it out to make its stem, but in this tuning fork this stem is separately joined. So, there is a disturbance in vibration, and this frequency may not be the correct frequency. Now, you can develop a relation, or you can establish a relation between frequency and length of the prong. Length of the prong usually considered from this point to this point, and here you can see these are the tuning forks, and length of the prong in this tuning fork is from this point to this point. Let me compare. So, now you can see that length of the two tuning forks is equal, and frequency of these two tuning forks is also equal 512 hertz. If you are taking the tuning fork of lower frequency, the length of the prong keeps on increasing. So, if you are taking the set of 8 tuning forks in your laboratory, you can arrange them according to their increasing order of frequency or decreasing order of frequency accordingly with the change in the length of the prong. This is very important about the tuning fork to know. There is one more important point is when this tuning fork start oscillating, it makes a wave like this, then this, then this, and this length is lambda by 4, then lambda by 2, then lambda by 4. So, this whole length becomes equal to wavelength, that is lambda, and you can calculate velocity of the wave, frequency of the tuning fork you can compare by comparing this length of the prongs. So, sound is very important, and now one fact I want to mention here is how this sound is important and what will happen if in nature something goes away from us. Let me talk about water, and water is needed for all. There is a word with me, and this word is the stomach of the word is empty. It has no water inside, no food inside, and let me ask a question to the word, what happened to you? So, I am asking this question by blowing air in the tail of this word. Word is not able to speak much. Let me provide some water to the word, and now let us see what happens when we are asking the same question to the word. So, joyful sound, it means water is needed for all of us and we have to conserve water, but it is not all. Let me come to the science of this word. There is a air column. So, when we blow air, the air column start vibrating and it produces sound. When we put water, length of the air column changes and the pitch of the sound changes. So, this is the physics behind the sound of the word.
Dear learners, I am sure after seeing such a nice interesting program, you will be more clear about sound and waves, and now I think you will be able to know how the sound and waves are very useful, or you can say it play a very versatile role in our day to day life, and we are very thankful for this program to our expert Mr. Singh sir. You came here in our studio, we are very thankful, and dear student, such type of interesting programs in different topics will be continue for your more knowledge and more interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta, and welcome.